Hello, this is the third installment of Korea Reborn, bringing the past to the present for the future. In this installment, we'll be talking about the Incheon landing. I hope you enjoy.
We ready? Okay. This is kind of a follow-on from previous session. In July of 1950, troops from Japan and Hawaii were sent to Korea under the command of General William Kane. They were ambushed by North Korea between Masan and Jinjin. Most of them were killed. Only some 200 of them got back to Masan. The North Koreans had moved all the way down the peninsula, and the Pusan perimeter, which is just that small section of southeast Korea was occupied. Now, the North Korean casualties were great. There were over 100,000 North Korean casualties. They stopped the 6th North Korean Division when they tried to take Pusan. So they stopped them and turned them back. The PEC was busy at that time. The Air Force was effective in destroying bridges and roads and slowed down the North Korean advances. Hardware started to pour into Pusan. The Allies said communism will be stopped. North Korea said we won't be stopped. And that set the scale for the rest of the combat. There was a battle of the Naktong River northeast of Daegu. U.S. wiped out North Korean 24th Division. That was a 10-day battle. There was hard fighting along the east-west Naktong road. They called it the bowling alley. Do you remember that at all? Okay. August of 31st of August, 9th Infantry Division and the 72nd Tank Battalion deployed across Naktong to destroy North Korean Communication Center. They were ambushed by the North Koreans. Of the 2,000 that went, 184 survived. It was a catastrophe. Early September, USAF destroyed 32 major bridges. That's a lot of bridges in Korea. 32 major bridges and hundreds of miles of road. By that time, our tanks we had 500 tanks in Korea, and the North Koreans had 40 of 400 left. So our tanks were, Doug, you did a good job. Early September, political conversations were being held that China was about to try to take back Taiwan, which had been lost after the Chinese Civil War, and we were opposed to that. So it was felt that there was a possibility that these two incidents could be tied in. MacArthur bragged, and he was good at that He bragged that he prayed every night that the Chinese would try to take over Taiwan. He said we would deliver such a crushing defeat, it would be one of the decisive battles of the world and perhaps turn back communism. Mac was good at promising a lot of stuff. He discussed his plans for the amphibious landing at Incheon behind the North Korean lines to trap and destroy the Korean army, North Korean army. No one agreed with him that was a good idea, but he was so persuasive in his speeches that they agreed. They disagreed because Incheon had no natural beaches. A single sunken ship could block the entire harbor. It had 30-foot tides, and it was mined. So this was not a good site for an invasion. However, he carried it out, and on the 15th of September, 1,300 Marines landed in Incheon. There were 21 American casualties in that landing. That's phenomenal. This was no doubt Mac's finest hour. He drew his ego grew over time and made him immortal to himself. He and Ned Almond allowed 40,000 North Koreans to get back north. That's as far as I'm going to go today on this. Any questions or thoughts?
Why the hell didn't he cut them off? They were all down in the south. We could have ended the war right then.
Yeah.
He didn't do that because he was planning on going into China, and President
Well,
Truman fired him.
They were talking about the possibility of China joining, and he and MacArthur and Almond, who was 10th Corps, both said that it was not likely that it would happen. And someone said, we're not worried about a few Chinese washer folks. Next time we'll talk about Incheon, or Chosin. How do you remember that with the tanks?
Well, when we left Seattle, I had quite an adventure. 10 days out, the bow of our ship cracked, and we started taking on water. And they moved all the troops into the other compartments. Of course, I had in charge of the bottom deck, the bottom of the deck number 4. So we pulled on into Yokohama. The government would not let us pull into the docks in Yokohama, Japan, because we were combat loaded. So we got that fixed up. They came out with the repair ships, and we went on to Incheon. And Incheon, the docks and everything were mined, frozen in, so we had to dock outside of the city of Incheon. And they sent the LSTs out to pick us up off of the ship and carry us in. So we went on into Incheon and picked the all-nighter train to Seoul. We got to the river in outside of Seoul, south of Seoul, and that bridge was under attack. The train had to stop. We didn't have any top in on the train, and the North Korean planes were attacking, trying to blow the bridge up to keep the troops from getting in.
There was that pontoon bridge?
No, this was a regular bridge.
Oh, okay.
And so they were trying to blow that bridge so that the troops that would cut off the troops coming in from Incheon and Taegu and from the south. So we sat there all night on our bridge, and it was 20 degrees below zero, frozen in.
Forget it.
And the next morning they had not succeeded in blowing the bridge, so we went on into Seoul.
Okay.
So I went into the 3rd Division Replacement Center in Seoul, and
What tanks were you using then?
I was we had the M4s at that time.
Oh, wow.
And we picked, but the heroes were the nurses. We had 2 nurses on board, and we get those guys. We had about 30 patients, and it was about 35 to 40 degrees below zero at
Wow.
the Chosin Reservoir at Hagaru. That was the old Japanese airfield there, and when we got to altitude, it was still very cold, but it was warmer than where they were at, and they started thawing out. And those nurses, I'll never forget. They've been my heroes ever since. They worked their tails off. And one flight, come back, I went back there. I got through with doing what I was supposed to do. And I went back there and I said, "Is there anything I can do to help you?" And she said, "Get your butt back up front."
That's great. Ed, you were at the prison camp for how long?
Say again.
Say you were at the prison camp for how long?
Well, the prisoners were mostly all gone when I got there.
Okay.
And I was sent right from States right straight to Korea. They flew me over, and when I got to headquarters got me. They didn't have a platoon sergeant. They didn't have the makeup of the whole company was nearly depleted. And they brought me in, and I was just a corporal, and told me that my assignment was to be the platoon sergeant, knowing nothing what was going on, what previous happened, nothing. And it was, I don't know, it was something that I wouldn't want to go through again. Not knowing anybody, and here they wanted to make me the platoon sergeant, not knowing any of the other fellows that were there. And but the second night I was there, they put me on guard duty. And I had to guard the PX, and that was way out from everything else. And I don't know why it was out like it was, but that's where it was. And I had to walk that thing 2 hours around and around that PX. And it was scary.
Yeah.
And had a rifle that was loaded, but it was, to me, it was terrible. Not knowing nothing.
Yeah.
And so I kept running in my mind, what do I do if something happens? And you're supposed to call corporal authorities, and that was used. And I don't know if my voice would have carried to the next guard station or not.
Yeah.
But it was so far out. But so happened, nothing happened.
And the BX seems to be a tough place to guard. When I was in basic training, we had a young guy from Port Arthur, Texas, who was put on a challenge post as a guard at a BX. And the BX officer came in, civilian clothes, had a snoot full, and disregarded what this little guy said, and he ended up with a broken arm. The guard broke his arm, and of course he was worried that he was going to be in big trouble, but actually got a commendation for his actions. But yeah, I respect guards around BXs. Okay.
Well, after that, my platoon was basically sent out to rid the prostitutes that were kept hanging around, and that was the weird part of my duty there. And then when we left there and moved up into the Yanggu Valley, well, that's when we left Kojido and moved to the Yanggu Valley. So that's my role in the prostitutes, picking up prostitutes,
Yeah.
expanded a whole lot more.
Yeah. Yeah. They were quite a crew. Well, gentlemen, let's close it off for today. I thank you for your input. Next time we'll talk about Chosin Reservoir, what led up to that, and some of the things about it. Thank you very much.
That was our discussion on the Incheon landing. I hope you'll join us next time as we speak about the Chosin Reservoir.